Hey, everybody. How y'all doing tonight?
You said
Great.
jump scare.
I'm,
Howdy, everyone.
I'm gonna put my cat on the mic.
Oh,
Alright.
Uh-oh. Why does the mule need to be reattributed? What have you done to that mule?
you know how they call them beasts of burden?
I do in fact see that it is 24 now. I understand.
That's it. Fuck you. Unattributes your mule.
Wasn't it like a level 18 monk or something at one point?
That doesn't sound right.
It wasn't
Also, I don't
supposed
know
to
why
be.
it's level 6 either.
It's got
That's what I
5
mean.
levels of fighter and 1 level of creature.
Ah,
Golden might have leveled up the.
I see.
That's what I was
Yes.
talking
That's
about,
what you
yeah.
mean.
Yes, that is what happened.
It's better this way.
I'm sure it will be fun.
Level 6 mule.
Okay, let's see. 24, does that get it to 720? Yes, okay. So that is correct then. Well, with that wonderful introduction, hello.
Howdy, everyone.
Hello
We're
there.
here. The party's made it to the Shining City after randomly stumbling upon some small yet strange craft that had been broken on the shores of the lake of the Shining City, the Grey Lake. And now they've made it into the city. They've spent a little bit of a time there, making sure to get reacquainted after walking in. But luckily for them, it is the 41st of Dark Sun, and it is time to enjoy the fruits of having entered the city. Let's do some bastion turns.
Alright, let me just... Ara, can you do weather while I find the
Yes.
document? Thank you.
So if I'm correct, it should be 2d4 plus 2 plus 3. We're in just a regular place.
Yep, grassland.
So we got
Probably-
a 11.
No, never mind.
Alright, meant to make the public. Cooler heavy clouds and gentle rain. Wind speed 20, it's severe wind. And there are some mechanical effects as well, which are kind of fun.
Okay,
Woohoo.
bastion turns... Ah, there we are. Rat, can you... actually, are we doing lifestyle, or... we're doing lifestyle with bastion turn. Okay, so
That's right.
everyone subtract your money. Ara, lifestyle?
Oh, normal, I guess. Yeah, I'm gonna do the 1 gold lifestyle.
Okay. Golden?
I just want to verify, are we pulling this from storage, or are we going to do this from our own?
Do it from your inventories if you can. Otherwise from storage.
Okay.
Okay. So Ari, you said modest?
My suggestion would be if anyone is taking it from storage, we all should, just so there's not an inequality of funds.
Okay. That's fair.
I mean, I eternally carry 1 gold piece, so I'm not going to be taking much for mine.
Just the one?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a very important one.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's big.
so... Okay, so Golden, what lifestyle are you doing?
We are Wretch Gang.
Okay. Albatross?
Modest.
Rat? Actually, you're copying me, right?
Matching, yeah.
Modest. Does anybody have to take money from the storage?
Superb.
Nice.
Not currently.
I have 10
Okay.
cop my name.
Okay, I'm subtracting the money. Okay. Now that we have lifestyle taken care of... Exploration roll, if you would, Albatross.
Wah. Skip.
Hold on. This is improved. We are now at
Yep.
+4.
+5.
Wow.
Wow,
five.
I sure do love that roll does nothing.
Yeah, it does.
Wait, why would it be a +5? It should be a +4.
We're level 5.
That's a 13.
These are. It's actually a 14. I may have forgotten the fact that we skipped a whole level
Why
and
would it
have
be-
been really
how would it be
focusing on level.
14?
Because it should be plus Oh no, you're right. You're right. You were correct.
So it would be a
is
13.
It is 13. You are correct. Just gonna everyone say everyone. Just don't look at that really, but cool. Just gonna make sure that's there.
Would you like to re-roll the 4 into one that would, on average, be slightly higher?
Trying to
we'll
bait
keep
you,
it.
don't do it.
No, we're gonna keep it.
All right. Now, everyone does a travel action in order. R.
Since we're in the city, I'm going to study. I feel safe.
Okay. Golden.
I will also study.
Albatross.
I'm going to study.
Rat.
So, anyways, I started studying.
Yeah. Same.
Study gang.
We are studiers of the storm. All right. Now that we have that, threat. Golden, if you could please roll your 3d20s. All right. Now we do our learning. Let me just make sure. Okay, we roll 5d6 this time now.
Ooh, why that?
Wow.
Because our proficiency bonus went up. We roll proficiency bonus d6 normally.
I see.
Studying adds 2. And don't forget to add your +1 because we are studying collectively.
Lovely. I'm breathing on my dice.
Ah.
It was a mistake.
Oops.
Oops.
This isn't actually a bad roll. I just have a terrible modifier. Okay, Al. Show off.
All right. I assume that we're not doing any crafting stuff at the moment, right? Superb. Now we can get to capitalism.
Yay.
Capitalizes. I don't know when you would want me to like say this, Lothair, but it was something you brought up that I should have in mind.
Mhm.
I do intend over the course of the Bastion turn to spend some amount of funds on, you know, getting and preparing ammo, setting up targets, shooting, just moving through that whole
Absolutely.
routine.
That can be one of the things, like, yeah. You want me to talk about it to you in DMs, or would you prefer to talk about it in open?
I don't really want to pull time away from an
All right,
already
we'll do it in
technical
DMs
thing.
while they handle
Yeah, well,
capitalism home.
Okay. So how many opportunities do we have to sell each type of material?
Given that
Shining
it's
City.
the Shining City, it's 4 for basics right now. 4
So 4 for everything.
below. 4, 3, 2, 1.
So 1 for premium then, or?
Mm-hmm.
But we don't have premium, so.
Right, yeah. So 2 high, 3 medium, 4 low.
Okay.
Okay.
And 4 low is 200, so.
Well,
no, 4
200.
low is 100, excuse me.
Yep.
I don't know why I said 200.
Okay,
ready
so
to roll
let's
whatever?
try and...
Oh, no, go ahead.
We gotta declare first so that we can't just pick and choose.
Mhm.
Let's try selling the high first. So don't forget to add my amount to your thing.
Yeah, I have it here. The D20
Okay.
plus guidance plus my modifier plus your modifier. Hiroe and Kaio go to the market.
Yep.
Selling high value trade goods.
Stonks.
You have a table for it. Yeah!
Woo! Nice. Yep. We're selling that shit.
Alright, let me get all of that math set up. Times 0.5 times 1.6 is 20 gold even.
Nice.
Yeah.
Lothair, I am going to get a little notepad here, and since I'm doing all of the inventory stuff, I will just have a permanent ledger of how many gold we get from,
Sounds good. And you could just
From
make the
selling
changes
things.
all at once.
And then we subtract the 25 high value.
Yep. I've got that in a second. Alright. Now we want to
Alright.
work our way down to medium,
Yep.
Alright,
All right, so
medium-
we have 3
Three
opportunities to
times
sell medium.
up to 75.
All right, so
just normal.
nah.
No. Okay.
Nah.
Back to market for medium goods.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
We keep going.
I think we
Okay,
take
so-
that.
Yeah, we definitely take that.
Okay.
So that will be 2.5, if I'm not mistaken. 5 times 1.35. That's 3 gold, 3 silver. And 7 copper, 5 copper. I'll round up because I'm devious. Let me mark that down as well. In my ledger.
Mhm.
You can go for math. I will do
Alright,
the things
third
on my
roll.
time.
Third roll. This is just more medium, I guess.
Yep,
Uh,
we take that.
okay. And that would be it for medium value trade goods.
Yep. And we have 4 opportunities to sell low.
Okay. Mr. Rat, would you like me to wait while you tabulate?
Yes, I would like some tally time.
Mm-hmm. What a beautiful market. So much to sell. So much to buy. Wouldn't you like to try what we've got in this weird bag over here? This is the first time that Kaio's actually been clean in a really long time. He's been living a horrible, wretched existence.
It's not so bad.
All right, go for it.
Okay.
All right, so 4 opportunities to sell low. This shouldn't really matter near. Oh shit! Nice.
Nice. That's pretty big. Let me get the base value of 1 batch. It's 1 gold. That's actually perfect.
Oh.
1 times 1.35. It's
Okay.
1.35. So wait, I can literally just use the fucking modifier as an easy out. Lovely.
Nice.
Nice. All right, and then second
Hold on,
sell.
hold on, hold on. I still
sorry.
do need time to tally.
Oh no.
Okay, sorry.
I clicked it already.
It's fine.
Honestly, it's low. I think we just take it.
Okay. It makes sense that the worst roll that I got so far was because I clicked it too early.
Now suffer. Suffer, suffer, suffer.
I am. I'm
I
suffering.
know your folly.
Well, I think the accountant is the one really suffering here.
Yeah.
All good. I'm moving faster now that I have my standard. Oops.
Okay.
370, 45. 8 gold, that's just 8 silver, 17 silver, and I will convert all of this up when I have more time. Alright, I'm good for the next low value.
Low
right.
value. Oh boy.
It's 90.
I think we still take it. That's another 9 silver.
Sale. Yep.
Okay, and then. Well, we've got one more.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oi. Thank God this is all in the low value because
Yeah.
honestly,
Yeah.
I'm convincing, but I'm not convincing enough to get him to buy junk.
It'd be like that.
My brain just farted for trying to do 6 plus 8. Alright.
14. Yeah. All right.
No, I know. I got it.
Okay.
It's just when I was doing it.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, seeing as we now have 100 gold at the moment, including the silver, should we split our money along the 15 per line?
Sure.
Okay. So, and then we keep 2 gold and 6 silver on the mules just to.
Give Chad a
Hold.
moment to read. I just sent my thing that's kind of the big
Okay.
system for the gun that I've been working on for a while.
Before we fuck around with money, do we want to do party expense-based things, or do we want to just have every party expense-based things be individual?
I think we should do the party expense-based things first, and then distribute whatever money is left from that pool afterwards.
Well, the party expense is the 25%.
Okay, so explain the math you are doing for how that 100 is being split up, just so I can mental it.
So I was thinking 15% per person, 5 people. That means 75% of the money is spent individually. Then 25% is used for party expenses,
Okay.
like food and such,
So then
or emergencies.
75% of the money is used, which means that we keep 25 of the 100 gold we're pulling, which means we'll have 27 gold on the mule, correct?
Yes.
27 gold on the mule, and you are going to record the amount. You're going to double dip in your wallet for Rat, or should I put it in Rat's? Because Rat's not carrying the coins.
I'll double dip.
Okay. So everyone gets 75 divided by 5, 15 gold, and here away you get 30 in your inventory.
It's so lucky that that divided up so evenly.
Yes.
Even if it
Okay.
didn't, we could just leave a little extra on the mule.
I know, but it's satisfying to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to think now that we're a little bit stronger, we can take on more dangerous tasks and possibly build that nest egg a little bit bigger. But on the bright side, I'm not sleeping in a barn for tonight.
We don't have to drag you out of whatever ditch you were in.
It was a ditch of productivity. Doesn't really make it sound any better.
Okay. So, to clarify, oh, never mind. I'll ask in DMs while people are doing other stuff.
Okay. So, JC, according to this chart that I'm seeing, the cost of a first level spell scroll is between 25 and 50 GP. Would we roll like a persuasion thing to see how much getting a first level scroll for me would cost?
One more time.
According to this chart that I'm seeing, the cost of a first level spell scroll is between 25 and 50 GP. Would we like roll a persuasion to see how much it would actually cost?
No, not for,
Okay.
for those sorts of things. They're pretty uniquely like standardized. It's not really so much of a bargaining one because there's not that many places that are doing it.
Okay. So how much, assuming that I would be able to find a spell scroll of Tensor's floating disk, how much would that cost?
Disc's probably a little on the less common side, so it would probably be like 3 gold.
3 gold. Okay, okay.
That's
Yeah, I
actually-
can... Huh?
That's not bad at all.
Okay. So, I would like to spend 3 gold on getting floating disk, and 5 gold on the inks to copy it into my spellbook. Is that, reasonable?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so then I spent 8 gold. Okay, guys. I now have a spell that will solve so many of our issues.
Thank goodness. Who needs a cart when you have a mage?
We do. We definitely still need the cart.
Mm-hmm.
I feel so strong
Okay.
and yet so weak at the same time.
Alright. Finally have Tensor's floating disk. I think I'm gonna wait on getting armor until later. At this rate, I don't want to spend literally all my money in one go.
How much is studded leather armor?
4.5 gold.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of a lot for you.
Yeah, especially considering I just spent like half of what we just got.
Being a wizard is rough, man.
Yeah. People always say wizards always win, but at what cost?
They
It depends on level of the spell.
Yeah.
Are these
Imagine
terms
if I-
amenable?
Oh yeah, absolutely. This seems really cool. The last question I would just have is related to what the DC is, but we can figure that out.
Yeah, that it gets harder over time, but you know, you'll pick it up.
You know how much it would cost for me to get a second level spell off of this?
No.
25 gold total.
Ooh.
Because 150 baseline for the second level spell scroll, and 100 gold for the inks.
We're just not gonna do that.
Yeah, not for a while. Alright. Anyone else have major purchases they're looking at?
I keep thinking about buying better armor, but I think I'll just wait.
Reasonable.
I'm going to purchase better armor.
Yeah. Blood leather seems like a pretty good investment for you.
So that's what, 45 gold, 45 silver? That's awkward.
Yeah, so 4.5 gold.
4 gold, 5 silver.
Mm-hmm. 10, and then I have 11 silver. I'm gonna convert that.
I could afford chainmail, but it would be 7.5 gold, and that's
I've just made a grievous error.
Hmm.
Wait.
Hmm?
I fixed the grievous error. I was definitely editing the gold of the group storage to do that.
Oh no.
No, don't do it.
I think I fixed it.
I'm proficient in weapons, but
Okay.
what do I look like swinging a sword at someone? Absolutely not.
Alright. So I'm assuming that Chad is still sorting details out.
I believe he's good.
Okay. Anyone else have the stuff they want to take care of with the money that we now have?
Y'all should probably go shopping.
What's that?
It's
Rat is fucking requisitioning from the Hiryu horde 1 gold piece.
1 gold.
1 copper coin.
Okay, let me just. So
I will
Rat
put it
has
in my
15 gold
inventory.
left. Okay.
And then I will remove it from my inventory, JC, you know what to do.
Yes.
I think I might.
Alright.
I'm going to purchase a set of fine clothes.
Reasonable.
Superb. Which section are you using your 1 gold on, Chad?
I think
Mm,
this time around, is it reasonable for me to get a like a general gist for what each category might improve?
Sure, might as well.
Do we have something that's acting like a compass?
Not
Or do we-
yet.
You.
Well,
I'm gonna buy a compass. How much is a compass?
I'm skilled in astromancy. I might be able to help with that without a compass.
I was actually planning on picking up Keen Mind at some point to help with that.
Kaio, I really appreciate that, and I've known a lot of friends who were good at astrology. Unfortunately, sometimes it's cloudy.
Someday I'll be able to fix that, but for now, you're right. He kind of squints his eyes as he says that. He is very serious.
Best of luck. I can't wait to see how that work out. Anyway, how expensive the compass be? Teffer was being sincere.
Oh, I
was,
know. That's what makes it funnier.
Yeah.
I was going to look it up, like the base 5e equipment, and give you the conversion just while JC's typing, but in all of every single 5th edition book, there is no compass baseline equipment.
I
All-
happen to know that, which is why I asked it.
Insane that a compass is not in an adventuring book's fucking equipment list.
Yeah, but do you need a battering ram, though?
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that somebody was saying in a Reddit post was that cartographer tape tools are the closest thing, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Hasn't been invented yet.
Yeah,
Damn.
we didn't have the compass to, like, what, 900 or something like that?
Damn, so you're telling me that we have muskets and pistols, but we don't have...
muskets and pistols. I have muskets and pistols.
Okay, that's fair.
We don't have anything, buddy.
If you want a spyglass, you can buy one for the low price of 1,000 gold.
To be fair, I do have to imagine in the rules of the universe that a compass is a pretty fucking hard thing to make with how minor fluctuations in the laws of physics that magic presents would really fuck with the compass. Especially in such a magical place as the Wilderlands.
Because as we all know, compasses are magic. Compasses are magic.
Well, no, they're physical. But the fact that magic exists fucks with the laws of physics and makes mechanical things harder to use. Like it makes, like, for example, like sulfur weigh like 0.2 less grams, or 0.002 less grams, like a gram of sulfur. And that doesn't mean much for mundane life, but when you're making precision machinery, like a compass, it can really screw with it.
Yeah, no, that's a genuinely terrifying thing to have happen when you have something that's supposed to be a stable law of the universe become unstable.
Just barely, though.
Mm-hmm.
And it happens every time magic is casted.
I got a question for you. If I want to buy... Sorry, this is a bargaining question. I know that a spell scroll would be difficult to bargain somebody down. If I just wanted to buy, like, some cologne, could I bargain for a cheaper price than the 5 silver that it would cost?
I imagine you could probably bargain for anything, just within limits. I do believe we are still in a feudal barter economy, so it is expected to barter.
Yeah, mostly expected, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, magic is a bit more difficult to barter on because, like, these things have intrinsic value passed down by the powers that be.
So they have intrinsic value passed down by the fucking gold you eat to literally make it.
God, I'm thinking of the whole having everything change. Imagine casting a spell and all of a sudden all the currency in the world debases itself.
So if I can I roll a bargaining thing to see if I can get a cheaper deal on this cologne?
On which one?
Secret is that all magic is wild.
So I'm just... Kaio's having a great time. He feels clean. He feels happy. He just bought some new clothing. He'd like to buy some cologne.
Oh,
but
of
he'd like
course.
to try and convince somebody to, you know, part ways with it a little bit easier.
Yeah, might as well. It's fun that one.
We'll see what happens. That's not terrible.
Not the worst. Describe to me the quality of cologne you're attempting to get. Is it just like a, you know, something nice, or are you trying to be like really the somebody? Are you trying to be the guy?
He's not, but he thinks it would be a nice creature comfort, something that he has not been able to have, but that he has smelled in marketplaces, and he's like,
You end up managing to pull it down from like 4 gold from somebody who doesn't really like want it down to like 2 gold.
nice. This is a great day for him. He's so happy.
I am going to write where I'm at with this whole system in my biography.
I think that
just-
is a good spot to put it.
Mm-hmm. So I imagine a lot of us want to stay here at least until the start of Young Seed.
I wouldn't mind.
May as well. I feel like we've put a lot of effort into it. Might as well enjoy the reward of what we've done.
Indeed.
He's joyous. The rain is nice. You end up finding a good little place to go to get you a little bit of the shelter while you figure out what exactly it is you're doing.
Truth be told, I don't know what plans the rest of you have, but for myself, I intend to ingratiate myself further with the developmentalists. Anyone have any objections?
It just kind of scratches, shrugs.
No, I don't have any objections. I might be going to see that archaeologist. In true me fashion, I wrote down everything that he told me except his name. And you know what? I think I'm gonna roll with that.
Of the factions present in the city, the Developmental Assembly does seem the most, well, in line with my own interests, I'd say.
Oh, we should also show Frienderet.
That is true. Well, I suppose it wouldn't hurt to see the enclaves of each of the 5 factions. Show Friend and Rat around.
True, yeah. Show off what not humanity, not but civilization has to offer.
What a wonderful choice.
What a wonderful idea. Alright, I will be able to participate more now if I can pay full attention. Let's go.
Alright. So, which one first, then?
Well, we could have one of these two decide.
That is true. Alright, Rat, Friend, your choices are as follows. The Family of Unity, which, as discussed earlier, has a heavy religious bent and is focused on synthesizing the religious teachings of both the kingdoms and the Empire. The... one moment, I'm trying to remember the full title. Oh, the Developmental Assembly is, as mentioned before, the Guardians of Civilization, trying to expand the city and its influence and making it as grand as possible. We have the Naturalist Flock, which is home to many of the druids in the city, and their specialty is in understanding the land and in safeguarding it. The integrationists are those from the kingdoms and the empire who, frankly, want the city to belong to one of them. They haven't yet agreed upon which one should own the city, but they agree that one of them should own the city. And then we have the Artist Congregation, the cultural backbone of the city.
Now, Pink Sane. As he roots into the pack and pulls out a skull. Skull give first, money first, fun later.
Oh, right.
And
That is true. Yes.
as he kind of
Bandits.
scratches his head, Bandit, important thing give.
In that case, I think the developmentalists are, and the family of Unity should be our first stops.
Rat kind of shakes his head.
Name say Draconic.
Hiroway says the two names in Draconic.
He just kind of nods his head and like wipes his eyes.
Brent, do you have any preference between the two?
I do not.
Probably get more of a kick out of seeing you than you do out of them.
Here,
How about
Ray
we start with-
steps out from the under cover of the roof, and there's a very gentle rain that's currently falling upon the stoneworks nearby. It's enough to be noticeable going from dry to wet, but not enough to make you uncomfortable once you've been in it for a second.
Seeing as they are, seeing as their enclaves both all come off of this plaza in various directions, I propose we go clockwise, starting with the developmentalists.
I wanted to see anyway.
Rat probably sneaks his way underneath that bench because it's just
Yeah.
easier than hopping onto it.
It is.
What about taking a literally one step to the right?
Yeah, your one step. That's like 3 or 4 of his steps.
It is not like 3 or 4. I am not that much taller than you.
Rat is 2'2".
Oh, yeah, I guess I do have a foot on you.
He's literally baby size, but if you say that to him, he will shoot you.
He will not waste a bullet on scum
He
like
will
you.
bite you.
Oh no, he bit me one time, I think.
He's kicked you in the shin.
Oh.
Don't think he's stooped to biting yet.
That makes me feel weirdly happy. Oh, where did I? Oh.
Didn't he also hit you with a rock?
Yes, he did.
I see that I am not wearing armor because we are relaxing here today. I am wearing my nice new clothing though, and there's like a faint scent of cologne. Nothing too dramatic, just like, one of those like masculine scents. He's trying to be fancy for the people that he doesn't know that he wants to impress.
Rat is stewing in his cleanliness. He's still uncomfortable with not being covered in dirt, soot, and the like from his projects. He lived his whole life in the caverns, and now that he's in a city, he has to be clean and different, and it makes him a little uncomfortable. And he kind of scratches at his scales every now and then.
Brent?
Yes.
Golden?
Uh-oh, is Golden here?
Hello.
Oh,
Did I miss something?
We're heading to the developmentalists.
Token. Control.
friend token control. Is that true?
Where's my token?
On the left.
Oh.
Shoo. The party makes their way up towards the developmentalist. As you do so, the buildings around you begin to shift into ones that are much more of circumstance, pomp, and of general, well, development. a lot more of the structures become ornate with both gold, blues, and browns, and a lot more of the architectural supports are much heavier metals and stone integration. It's a very intense sort of change until you begin to get to the courtyard of the developmentalists themselves, where taking a few steps inside their walled complex, you find yourself face to face with the situation in front of you, as there are multiple almost doll-like creatures generally standing around the porcelain guard of the developmentalists.
Keeping a wide berth. Don't want to get too close to them. They do make me a little uncomfortable, I'll be honest.
Before we move on, can I just say how fucking amazing this map looks?
Thanks.
It's really pretty.
This looks so cool. Why am I encumbered?
Probably because you're encumbered.
I'm not.
Interesting. You are also not encumbered.
I was here.
Oh, this token is Tefred Brandywood copy.
Yeah, this is the baby one. It's just
Oh.
I was here last time. Would I have any fun facts to relay about the porcelain guard?
if you want to, yeah, I'll send you something.
Okay.
Just gonna delete a couple things. So I just didn't want to see that out there.
Kaya was visibly uncomfortable, so if that is a segue to conversation, please feel free to take it.
You are in your copy character sheet right now, by the way.
Yes, but it was a 4, and I don't think it would change anything if it was a 10.
No, I know. I'm just letting you know so that you
thank you.
don't continue.
If it helps at all, Kyle, they lack any will of their own. But
Wait, what?
Why would that help?
What need help?
Hold on. I didn't even know that. Hold on, wait.
these are golems produced by some of the mages and artificers of the assembly. They are rather expensive to make. But despite having no true will of their own, they are intelligent and capable of understanding the situation.
Rat was getting closer in interest, and when he hears that it was made by magic, he kind of "Ugh," and turns around.
I don't think I like that. Okay.
You get a look from the porcelain soldiers to Brend over here. Do they have similar vibes?
Not really, no. Most of the porcelain guards stand completely upright. They have their hands behind their back that are mostly covered just above their hip line. They have no mouths from which to emote, which is perhaps one of the few similarities between the two of them. And perhaps most prominently, Friend's dark and gnarled wood is in stark contrast to their almost completely perfectly sleek and sheen white and blue.
More efficient to have golems guarding the place than people. After all, golems don't have to sleep, they can't be bribed, and they don't have to eat or be paid. So while the creation of a porcelain guard is expensive, they require very little in the way of upkeep. And you can ensure that they will always be loyal.
No magic like this still existed. I thought. Well,
And that's why they're so expensive to make.
As you begin to continue up the pathway, one of the golems begins moving slightly closer towards you, Kyle. Excuse me, sir. No access for non-guild members past this point.
Speak out, talkie talk.
As he kind of peeks from behind his legs.
he just exhales.
We were here to turn in a bounty. Is the office for such matters nearby?
He points to the building to the left.
Thank you.
The Trade and Bounty office is behind you, sir.
Thank you for your time.
I thought it was gonna grab me.
Rat gets to the base of the stairs and has to physically climb up each individual one.
Hero offers his shoulder for this part specifically.
He kind of like snaps his jaws at the thought.
Can do self.
Alright.
He was, before you offered, about to climb on you, but the second you offered, he
True.
I'm currently imagining Rat doing the Rocky stairs,
That's actually not too
but that's like the whole movie.
superb.
Alright, I'm gonna need like 10 minutes here. My sister needs to be put to bed.
Okay.
Mhm.
Would you like us to wait, or? Alright, well, I think he would want us to just continue doing other things that might minimal.
Mhm.
A porcelain guard opens the door immediately in front of this and just gives you a brief moment.
Mhm.
Give us just one moment, sirs. We are finishing a meeting currently. Should be
Absolutely.
only about 10 minutes. We'll see to you in just a moment. If there's
Very
anything I
nice.
can do to aid you in this time, please let me know. And takes a step out from it and waits at the side of the patio.
Could you provide a list of active bounties in the region?
Absolutely, sir. And they attempt to make their way past you to climb down the stairs, but they would never force their way past and simply wait at the corner of the stairs.
Kaio takes a step off, just kind of leans against the wall here.
It ends up being just a few feet in front of Friend and is looking down at him.
Wow, that's even like a step up. That's impressive. How tall are these guards again?
Probably about like 7 feet,
Jeez. Okay.
maybe 8, somewhere in that range. They're not particularly heavy, they're just slim and tall.
Huh.
Lithe, perhaps, might be. I don't know if that's, perhaps right, but
No, that sounds right.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. Like a big old gymnast.
There we are.
He takes a step back.
Huh.
Did you just
Many
send it
thanks.
all the way back into town?
it reaches into the board and pulls out 3 in particular. And one that is only in the player's personal imagination.
Okay. Hmm.
I know which one I want to do.
We haven't heard about these yet, but I'm pretty sure I do as well. Oh.
So far, I see my personal one, which is the Ruby Coast, and I see 2 others. Oh, right.
Oh.
There we go. 3 new ones: Starfall, Southly Scouting, and Desert Treasure. And the Ruby Coast, a personal quest.
He's going to ask in something of a hushed tone. Was there a bounty regarding goblins that had produced some manner of war machina recently?
To this unit's recollection, there has been no entry for such a request.
Good to know.
However, if you would like, I may access further records of the incident.
That would be ideal, thank you. The report was made some time ago, and it may have been some time.
It gives a slight bow and begins to move to underneath this building. You have some time to communicate with your fellows before they return.
Hero is going to head up and distribute the writs of bounty to the others. There are some that seem rather interesting. Also, I closed them and I can't actually see them anymore. Did you make them accessible, or
That may have been my mistake.
that was his mistake?
That was his mistake.
And
Yeah, I should probably make it observer on all. There we go.
Hmm.
Man, there's 3 I really want to do, actually.
yeah. Well, I see 2 that stand out. One of these is just more scouting, and we can do that on our own time, but one of these could get us in touch with quite a wealthy person, and well, I don't know about you, but I like
would-
high places.
I would love to go find some rules. Maybe that guy could tell us how. Oh, what kind? I wonder how.
I'm a little surprised to see the development lists and the naturalists working together on this Starfall mission. I feel like they would be at odds.
Well,
I guess.
They might be. They might be if we get that piece of star back, but
that is true. Perhaps the naturalists are interested in it for any potential damage to the environment that it might cause,
Excuse
or
me.
the possibility.
Excuse me, that's mistyped. It's integrationists, integrationists, and
Ah.
naturalists.
Okay, yeah, that
My
makes sense.
fault.
I was
that-
like,
As soon as you
those
said
two
that, I'm like,
working
wait a second, that's
together.
not right.
I was about to say this is 2 opposite sides of the color pie here.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes it less mysterious and intriguing.
Oh, integrationists and naturalists?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I can see it making sense. Does anyone happen to know where Bartiz is? Is that how it's pronounced?
All of you would. That is the place you went. That is colloquially known as the city of Bastion. The
okay.
one that you
That
went
one
to.
was the one that was really far to the west.
Okay.
Quote unquote, really far to the west. Yeah.
Yeah, fair.
So it's a week south of that. Or
Weeks
a week
west
west
of it.
of that. Still pull our attention in 2 separate directions.
And then there's always the other one that we discovered that I will not mention out loud in front of our guests.
Would that take us to the west as well?
Southwest.
Well, what do the rest of you think?
I'm inclined to think that the northward bounty is the most lucrative for now and the future.
I have a lot of vested interest in finding whatever those ruins might be.
So 2 votes for northward.
I will note that a lot of the details of the sheet seem to give that there's a lot of vague descriptions of potential clues. You'd pretty much just be about in the dark of just wandering around hoping to find it. There's not very much info beyond descriptions of what it could look like by less than reputable sources. It's a risky one that could pay out big, but there's also a decent chance that you just don't find anything. Or at least that's the assessment you have.
Well, even if it is a risky operation, hauling supplies is not as big of a problem as it was before. I acquired a new spell that should make return trips much less backbreaking.
This is the first campaign where I've just thought of a legitimate use for the stealth fight in the past.
Yeah,
Of these three, I am most intrigued by Starfall for what it might, well, reveal to us. But I think heading to the north could be better in the long term. I don't know who this patron might be, but having someone like that, knowing that we're reputable, that we're reliable, could pay dividends later on.
if there is another performance by the artist, we may be able to inquire as to the identity of this patron. Maybe make inroads before actually heading on the job. We should perhaps look into that.
Not a bad idea. It's a networking opportunity, just for sure.
Friend, Rat, what do you say?
What is a starfall?
To my knowledge, sometimes stars crash down from the firmament and bring with them strange magic materials.
They fall from the sky.
He just gives you a blank expression.
No, that's about as far as my understanding goes too. It's materials not like of this world.
I've heard rumors that sometimes they even bring materials and creatures from other planes, but the people who said such things may have been drunk, or heard from someone who was drunk.
See.
I've seen sites where it's happened before, and where these pieces of material make contact with our soil, it leaves an enormous crater. If it's big.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Hello?
How did I do that?
Good question.
Shift and ping.
Ah.
I have to get it for a moment.
On that note, part of why the naturalists might be interested in it is I know some who take the sky as a source of omens view the occurrence of such starfalls as a particularly dire omen.
I wish you wouldn't say things like that. You make it sound so interesting.
It is deeply interesting.
I would like to go on the scouting. The pay is irrelevant to me, but I feel most at ease out in the wilds.
Alright. Is Emocrab back?
No, but Kaio is. And Kaio can voice his opinions.
Oh, I believe that I did.
Completely? Oh, sorry.
So, my perspective on it is, heading to the north could get us the connections that I personally like. Although, getting ourselves lost in the desert for a week or more doesn't exactly sound like my idea of fun.
Oh, the desert is much farther north. At least, I think the desert that you were thinking of.
Sure. It just says the basin to the north. It's even this is vague. The Starfall? We make it sound quite promising, and well, there's a bit of a political moment at play, isn't there? Two factions are working together. I know they're not enemies necessarily, but it, well, again, I'm trying to think of our future. We've been working together successfully, I think.
Oh, absolutely. I think you guys are wonderful.
I return
Rat
that
stops
sentiment.
investigating this small shrine that has a bit of fresh water in it, and well, it has a bunch of little mechanical doodads on it that somehow piqued his curiosity. It's clear that now it's no longer gained any value from him. It just more regular mechanical junk, nothing special about it. The trick's been found,
Aw.
and as such, it has no interest to him anymore. So he regains semblance of composure with the group.
Hero's going to look over his shoulder to see if the porcelain guard is on his way back.
It is not. However, as you turn your shoulder, you do get a glimpse for just a few moments as someone is moving through. Let's do this. Does that work? Yeah.
Yeah.
As someone is moving through the gates with two guards in tow, quickly moving past. He turns and looks at you just as you turn to face her, and you're the only one to have seen her. He had eyes that glowed like the sun, and you sort of felt like you didn't want to look at her when she looked at you. And with that, you can continue.
Oh, it seems we missed the procession of a person of import.
A disappointment. How do you know they were important?
Oh, well, we can beat the
Simple.
crowd, though.
Hmm?
Oh, sorry, I was just looking on the bright side.
Simple, she was being escorted by two porcelain guards. So clearly she is a high-ranking individual within the developmentalists.
Sorry, did Chad not say he was back?
I am. I'm just listening and trying to catch up and figure out what's
Oh,
going
gotcha,
on
gotcha,
on
okay.
context clues.
So Chad, you would know.
No. Keep going. Like, Rat's clearly been... Rat, well, personally was really focused on something else. It's clear that even Rat himself doesn't know what's going on. He's...
Ah, right. I see that we have your attention once again.
He kind of snarls a little bit.
We have 3 potential bills of bounty to look over. One is regarding a set of ruins said to be in the north. Peppered and I have expressed interest in that one. One is investigating a starfall far to the west. And one is surveying some land to the, as I recall, the southwest.
Starfall. From the sky.
Yes. As I explained to friends, sometimes stars crash down from the sky and bring with them various magic materials.
Metal.
Maybe.
Probably.
Sky drop go.
Alright. And if we take on the job for the Starfall, we additionally have the ability to take on the scouting mission. Since they are in near the same location.
Friend did say he was interested in scouting, so
Alright. To the west, then.
The West sounds good to me.
a journey to the west, even. You end up being able to finish out the rest of your activities here. The porcelain guard from underneath returns with news that such a report has been made, but no such filings for a quest or any such activities seem to have been needed at this time, and if that's acceptable.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Additionally, you've gone through. You get to talk with one of the trade masters in the building. It's a fairly brief conversation, only about 6 minutes, enough for him to be introduced to you and to understand your name and you his. You get to trade in the fact that like you are who you present as, and he describes that you do in fact match the description the Aurora boy gave to you, and provides with you the 10 gold for the bandits.
To
Wonderful.
group storage.
It is now back to you.
With that, shall we continue on to the Family of Unity? Turn in the skulls?
More money.
Family of Unity visuals not found here. How many skulls do you have recorded?
13.
13? Alright. Go ahead and take off 12 of them and add 4 gold.
Yippee. So is it like an ongoing bounty? Just
Yep.
hunting skeletons in general?
Yep.
Yeah, I guess if there is an necropolis there, it kind of would just be ongoing. Would they be interested in the information that there is a necropolis there, or something of the sort?
I mean, that's for you to determine, probably.
Would they be willing to pay us for that kind of information?
It's kind of presumed, and they know that there's
Was
a few areas down there that have been hot spikes, but a lot of the records got destroyed on the exact details. What's up,
was
Chad?
was there a flat fee for the skull as well as the things, or was it just the skull value?
It's just per skull, but it's like permanent.
I see.
Repeatable quest.
Mm-hmm. Repeatable quest.
It's a reputation turn in.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Ooh.
Well, it might not help us financially, but it could help us get in their good graces if we help them find things out like this.
We can you.
Yeah, Family of Unity map not found. Wasn't happy with it.
Tragic.
Wasn't happy with what?
The
The
map.
Family of Unity map.
Ew.
Any
you
more
had-
need you have?
You head back to the central market.
Meow.
Well, these other trips will not be nearly as lucrative, but which one would the lot of you like to see next?
Why not the naturalists?
Alright, they may even be able to help appraise some of the artifacts that we recently recovered.
Feel like maybe. Nothing. He starts speaking and he's like looking at friend when he says that, and then just kind of trails off.
Rat appraise identified good enough.
Yes, but they may be able to understand their place in the world. You uncovered their function, but this veil, for instance, clearly has some sort of story behind it.
Why matter?
Its story may lead us to other such items.
Kind of shrugs.
And understanding its origin may also give us information on how we might restore it.
Pepper?
Shepard?
My god, he fell in a manhole.
No.
Well, I mean, about a third of a manhole.
Damn.
Pothole.
For him it would be half of one. For you it would be a third.
Maybe like a quarter of one.
People aren't 8 feet tall. I mean,
People
friend
aren't 8
is
feet
almost.
tall, but people
Sorry,
are
I had
also
to get
more
up
than
for a
35
moment. What's going
pounds.
on?
We're heading to the naturalists.
Oh, okay, perfect. That sounds good to me. Whee!
You walk your way down to the southeast. It ends up gradually growing a lot bluer, both due to the grass becoming a much hardier shade, as well as a lot of the local tributaries having a lot of branched out agricultural, like, irrigation, as well as just natural streams that tend to abound nearby. Finally make yourself to the heart of the naturalists. Is quite a many gardens and orchards in a few of the nearby surrounding islands, with a bunch of little bridges connecting each of them. It's rather nice and perfectly humid in such a way that the rain doesn't feel bad at all. Surrounding you are beasts that would seem a lot closer to friend upon Kaio's inspection. There are somewhat shorter guards, probably about 4.5 to 5 feet, which are essentially just seem to be made of woven bark that just simply wraps around in the shape of a person. These are much less both intensive and seemingly responsive than the porcelain guard. They remain at watch anyway, as they are the bark watch.
As we are walking through this natural space, Kai would like to look to friend and say, well, you feel a little bit more at home here.
Much so.
I feel like I am too, honestly. I'm really kind of put off by those other golems.
Wrong color blue.
What?
Wrong color blue.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Just giving Rat a very confused expression.
He doesn't seem very intent on explaining himself.
I was half ready for Rat to just crawl up on him and just stick his head in his face.
Red color. Or sorry, wrong color blue.
Just eye to eye.
No, this is very peaceful
Indeed.
compared to...
One of the fellows who's just simply chilling out on one of the benches walks up and says, "Howdy. Welcome," and reaches out his hands first to Kyle.
Oh, give him a firm handshake and a smile. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Likewise, Izar crouches down on his knees, puts out a hand to, in turn, both to Tefford and to Rat.
Rat kind of
Teffrey Brandywood.
Rat kind of lowers his body a little bit and narrows his eyes, puts his head in front of his body, and just kind of stares.
No worries, my friend. The attempts to follow suit with Hero A and friends.
Hero returns a handshake to the what he approximates the proper intensity would be.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense.
He's basically trying to match.
Okay, noodle arms.
No, it's not about. I mean, yes, but
Tend to think that I have a pretty good handle on people who come through, and you look like new faces, talking and wondering what about to do. Anything I can do to help ease your burdens, my friend?
I have a lot of thoughts, but not a lot of things I just... well, actually... Tell me, are there any leaders of the naturalists here? It seems quite cozy, not governmental, as I might expect.
If we had anybody who'd be a leader, it would probably be a good old Aid up there, as he points back behind him in this direction.
I kind of like lean over so I can see past the supplies in the tree and everything. What do I see when I look over?
And you see a skeleton in a farmer's outfit, gently
Move it.
tending to a small bush of flowers, excuse me.
I look back to the rest of the group.
You okay, Kyle?
Yes.
Rat kind of like looks.
Clearly not K what?
Oh. What do you think?
Oh, never mind. No, Rat is so autistic that he still thinks you're not okay.
Yeah,
because
no
somebody
matter
else
what you
asked if he was
hold.
okay.
You're Kaio, something's wrong.
Damn.
I didn't say how are you feeling. I said you are wrong.
Keep in mind, Rat cannot see over there. He is too short.
Oh no, I know. That's the joke. Kaio tries to play it very cool. I didn't know. Well, thank you for letting me know.
And if there's anything any of the rest of you need, don't be afraid to give me a holler. Sound good?
Well, actually, we had heard news of the Starfall a few weeks back to the west. Do you have any insights into what exactly the incident was?
Yeah. Put quite simply, one of the nights some of the fellows were going up, ordaining from the stars however they do. And a few extra sparks ended up moving across. I'm not one who's particularly knowledgeable about any of their astrolabe and astrolabe and what nonsense, but I know they got a pretty good idea where it landed, and there's probably something to learn about it from it. Sorry I can't be too much more of a help than that, my friend.
Perfectly fine.
Now I got a perfectly good day to wait. Enjoy yourself. And he moves over, bumps down, puts both his hands behind his head, and just leans back and enjoys the gentle pitter-patter of rain and the streams flowing by.
Once he's out of earshot, Kaio is going to whisper, "There is a skeleton over there. Farming?"
Rat says rather loudly,
Skeleton skull give gold.
No, probably not.
he just tilts his head.
He said that was their leader? I don't really get... Should we introduce ourselves? That doesn't seem...
About skeleton skull give gold.
I don't see why not. I don't think this one is. Rat, they're not from the region that
But
we.
jobs say can't tell undead, not where from.
Well, here's the thing. We have to have them in sets of 3, and I don't think we have enough. Even with this one.
And use yours.
No, I'm not undead. It doesn't work that way.
Can find way undead rise.
If you can, why don't we... No. Good idea. Wrong target.
He just kind of like very grizzled, toothy grin when you say when you say if he can.
I'm just imagining for a moment Kaio's like, put a pin in that idea.
That's exactly what he's saying. Great initiative. Maybe somebody else.
Unfortunately,
though.
I'm not much for raising undead, so you would have to find someone else to do so.
What if we just... This is maybe not the right place to have this conversation, but...
Fine.
I look around. These people, they don't seem like they caught into necromancy, even though they're friends with an undead person, right?
No, not really.
Why?
I will just, like, whisper very quietly. We found a place that brings the dead back to life. For the where, but alive. If we get some corpses and bring them there, we can make our own profit. But again, I wouldn't do that.
Why quiet so?
He says a little a little bit less like loud, but like still not being quiet at all.
He kind of closes his
That way
eyes.
we can keep the information for ourselves.
He shuts his mouth and puts both of his hands on his maw.
Now you're speaking his language.
Anyway, people tend to be upset when you're fooling around with dead people. So. Should we make our introductions?
Even
Yeah.
in some of the most, even some of the places in the kingdoms most positive toward necromancy, it is heavily regulated.
Where do they let you?
But yes, we should introduce ourselves.
I know it wasn't on purpose for you, but I do like to think in character, Kaio was about to ask, where do you even do necromancy in the kingdoms? And then you start doing business talk, and he immediately shuts up.
That is a good question. I don't know. I am not familiar enough with the lore of the kingdoms as a whole, as me.
No, that's fine, because he didn't finish asking the question. He's like, where do you even... Right. Introductions. Oops.
As you get closer, you can see as he's gently weaving around a bit of perhaps arcane, perhaps natural magic, and trying to help guide a clearly not so well off flower plant to properly bloom and bring itself to the right state. And as we're nearing the end of Dark Sun, it's probably like the 47th right now.
Really fair to assume that, considering the other purchases we made.
Who wants to, say hello?
Rat kind of walks over, stands with his hands on his hips, and looks over the skeleton and says, turning his head towards Kaio,
Right was. His skeleton there.
Kefrid, do you have any familiarity?
No, not at all.
Rat and Kaio, given their vantage points, can both see as the skeleton is smiling,
How could you tell the difference if it was smiling or just there?
because it's smiling.
Oh.
Many teeth.
You don't need to stay so far back, strangers. My bite's not too bad.
Oh yeah, no, Teffer's just walking right up. Teffer, nice to meet you.
He's still mostly paying attention to the bushel. Likewise. Welcome.
Tefred.
Apologies if I offended. I'm not the most familiar with the naturalists, and I thought it best if someone else made introductions.
I'm not one to hold grudges. I'm past that. Finishes up what he's doing for a moment and turns to Tefford and gives a very deep bow. Aid Tredon, one of the roots here. I don't blame you. I understand many are taken aback by the appearance, but... Is there anything I can do for you, or simply here to say hello?
Well, our friends Rat and Friend are new to the city, so we had thought to show them around to each of the 5 factions, give them a proper tour of the city and its surrounding circumstances.
Rat is moving his fingers as if he's counting.
What noble compatriots you are, as he moves forward gently around the bushes and his feet sort of disappear as he walks rather than actually walking as, footstep in front of foot. It's more like his legs disappear and then reappear slightly in front of him as he gently crouches down in front of Rat.
His eyes just stay locked on the skull until eventually he goes,
Teeth too many.
And what do you think of your friends here, young Rat?
kind of tilts his head, realizes that he's just talking and narrows his eyes, kind of gives a little bit of a back. Grumbles a little bit.
Do you
Not
believe,
friends.
do you believe they have your best interests in their heart?
Rat, no, they have their best interests at heart, sometimes align.
And you still choose to be with them?
Better than alone.
That it is. And I want you to understand that as you continue to travel with them, make sure the choices you make continue to be your choices to travel with them. It's true no matter who you're with. And he starts to stand up. No matter which ones you're going to make in this life, make sure the ones you make are yours. You understand?
Rat kind of sits there blankly for a moment as he's processing the common words and translating them in his head. Because that was a lot of words.
Sorry, I may have overdone myself, but I have places to go. Is there anything I can do for you before I move on? Asking more generally to the group.
I wanted to ask him about the Starfall earlier, but I think that from someone else.
We actually have a question regarding an artifact we recovered some time ago during an expedition to the south.
Rat snaps out of his stupor and starts scrambling for it.
Would you happen to know anything regarding this veil?
And he holds up proudly.
He attempts to gently take it from you by sort of putting out his hands to be just beneath it.
He just drops it, like, all at once.
It lands resolutely in his hands and he moves it without issue. He spins it around, attempts to, peel away certain parts where there's a little bit of, the chains and the lines dangling, wiping off a few spots that are particularly muddied, and he eventually hands it back to Rat. Gives a...
We discovered
Go ahead.
We discovered its function. We found it around a place around some ancient ruins that also had a great deal of necromantic energy. And when we found it, this veil was damaged, but clearly had vibrant primal magic inside of it.
Well, what I can tell you is that it's of Mirandor design. Clearly one of, if not royalty, one of their higher-ups, because the silver inlays on it are profoundly well etched. And if it's where you found it, it means it's from one of the border cities that was eventually sacked by the Undead Empire. More than that, and I'd need a lot more time to figure that out. Hopefully that's enough to get you started in the right direction.
Thank you. That should be most useful in uncovering more of its past and potentially repairing it.
Best
Rat
of
does
luck
perk
in
up
your
at the idea of
journeys.
repairing.
Thank you. I'm sorry, what did you say, Chad?
Rat does perk up at the idea of repairing, and he sort of looks at Hirway as he leaves.
We not figure out what do. Rat figure out what do.
Of course.
Also, too many teeth, too many word.
He
We
kinda
should also, before we head out on our next expedition, we should also figure out who should be in possession of this veil. Because even though it is damaged, we should make use of its magics.
Rat puts the veil like weirdly on his head. I imagine it doesn't fit very well because of his head's shape as he
You'd
puts
be
a fist
correct.
into the air. As he puts a fist into the air and says,
See the ground.
Hmm.
he takes it off because it is heavy and this is getting uncomfortable for his neck to get out.
Well, I can think of two. Well, I don't want to say correct, but more correct bearers for something like this. Given what it can do, and given what Tefra often does, I think that he could make good use of it. But, friend, you seem quite close to the Earth. Would it? He's trying really hard not to be like, "Oh, you're made out of rocks and trees and stuff, right?"
Well,
That's
I'd be okay with friend having it. I think it would make sense.
I also had a thought regarding that. Friend, if you are indeed close to the Earth as a whole, if this veil does in fact grant visions, then maybe those visions might grant some insight into the source of that connection that you have.
and maybe you might be able to understand them, where someone like Tefra or myself would be at a complete loss.
Whoever taken where, someone grab. Heavy.
As he says, with kind of half dragging it across the ground.
I'll take it
What do
from
you
you
say,
and
friend?
kind of give it to a friend, just like hold it out to him.
He leans down and takes it with one hand.
Rat kind of kicks dirt towards friend, seeing how easily he picked it up. Not a lot, just like a kind of.
He returns it to Hiroi and just asks, "Where is the staff?"
I believe we left it with the mules. We can recover it once we head back to the inn. They're stabled there.
Understood.
Oh, this has been a rather fruitful visit. Shall we continue onward?
Right, one more to go.
Two more. The integrationists and the artists.
Oh. Big
And
word.
from the
Rat just grumbled about how big the word integrationist is.
yes. But once we finish meeting with them, we can return to the inn and plan our next move. I'm assuming that we're heading west next.
Back to the central market.
Yep.
If we are indeed going clockwise.
Integrating it. Integration.
Mhm.
He's just kind of grumbling, trying to say the word.
Hard like Blubberby.
As you say that, there's an. I like to think Kaya was trailing a little bit behind the group. He got distracted on the way over. He hears you say Blubberby, and you just hear. Big
You should
sigh.
be honored. He was trying harder to say your goddess's name than most words in common.
Is he really?
As you eventually make your way to the Grand Embassy, the home of the Integrationists, you take a few steps through its main entrance into the central courtyard where it's essentially a small castle in the middle of the city, which holds various different embassies, meeting points, like places of rest for people who are traveling from afar, great market, and for now, importantly, this nice courtyard, for which there isn't too much to do unless you have somewhere to go in one of its other three main districts, that being that of the embassy, the trader, of diplomats, but hey, you're here to show it off. The courtyard has exceptionally well-maintained bushes, forming a nice hedge around the entire shape of it, a central fountain, which has a very luscious blue, and various different statues of old heroes from both the empires and the kingdoms. A few of the trees have fruits ready to be picked, which a few individuals in a few different places are just casually eating from as they have their parlant conversation.
He is indeed Kyle. He took rather a long time to say my name properly, so this is to be expected.
You'll like Hite more.
If I may, I would like to use my telekinetic powers to whisk a fruit from the bush.
You easily
Over.
do so.
Yeah.
Good float.
Yes. And I will send it over to Rat.
Rat just opens his mouth as it floats over.
It's
Thank you.
exceptionally sweet. It's like a cross between an apple and a tomato.
Ooh, I already love eating tomatoes.
Thank you for trying to understand her name.
He kind of tilts his head.
Just hard word.
Who doesn't love a challenge?
He kind of starts rethinking his struggle with it, because he does like a challenge, actually.
I knew that he would go for that angle, which is why I said it.
This is how you have to phrase it.
Mhm. It's not necessarily reverse psychology, it's, oh, that was difficult? How fun!
One of my favorite bits of Rat is that it's not that he's necessarily that dense, it's that the language barrier is so hard for him that, like, if you don't specifically worry, because, like, if you spoke it to him in Draconic, he would get subtext and, like, other stuff, but, like, it's so fun to just be fucking oblivious
Is he
for
better?
no fault of his own.
Is he better with Goblin than he is with Common?
No.
Oh.
Exactly the same.
That's so funny. So anytime Kaio starts speaking in Goblin to him, it's the same thing but a different accent, basically.
Basically, yeah. He actively translates in the same way that, like, learning Spanish in school, he actively translates it in his head as he's hearing it.
Oh, wow.
Hola, soy Rat.
Oh no.
Don't fuck with me. My kobold gave me a badass cowboy name. It's El Bandejo.
I will say this is not what I expected from the Integrationist.
What was that thing Lorik said as a curse every now and then?
You're gonna have to be more specific.
It's the thing he said in Draconic that would be like
Have
a.
I
oh my
never
God.
wonder.
So the two were Aethios and Karshaj.
I
Karshaj.
Karshaj. And are
Yeah.
those more draconic dialect or general draconic things? Or
They're
Dragonborn dialect, or-
general draconic.
He will have been grumbling those things at any minor inconvenience.
Blue lizard like other blue lizard.
It is their language.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, should we? I feel a little embarrassed. I just took a fruit from the middle of these people's conversation. Did they notice it flying away towards us?
Not really.
Ah, excellent.
It's not particularly noteworthy of an event.
No, this is great. It makes it easier to steal from people.
Oh, let's continue deeper and maybe they might have a different perspective on the Starfall.
As we pass the fountain, I'm just going to let my hand trail through the water.
It is perfectly gently cold, in good contrast to a lot of the somewhat warm, somewhat cold wind and rain that falls all around.
It's very soothing
Speak-
in a way.
Speaking of contrast, your hand is in the water, Rhett's snout is in the water as he's drinking.
It is exceptionally invigorating, right?
Lovely.
You can tell it's slightly magically enchanted, but only very slightly.
He grits and bears. Too yummy.
He hates
Is
that
there
drink.
something in particular the party looks as they go through the other areas that are public of the integrationists?
Preferably someone who can explain their mission better than someone who is biased against them.
True. Well, the two guild leaders happen to be having a conversation by that tomato apple tree.
Wait, what?
Whoa!
The
you're
guild leaders,
lying!
I see.
Oh man.
You're lying. They're not the guild leaders.
Damn, I really just stole some fruit from. Okay.
You didn't steal anything.
Well, I don't know how legality works here. It's not my problem.
You didn't steal anything. There's nothing to be taken. What do you mean? You didn't take anything.
You're right. So right.
Where's the evidence?
Your Honor, this fruit is gone. I don't know who did it, but it is no longer here.
Proving that it's gone is not enough to prove that I took it.
Thank you.
Mmm. So true.
Please ignore it poking out of my pocket.
Suspiciously
Suspicious.
tomato
God damn it.
apple.
I don't know where the fruit went. Suspiciously fruit-shaped rat.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Okay. Well.
Looks
Stack
like
again.
Red is sort
what's
of in the bush as he looks around at you walking toward them.
As you take that last step, the one closer to you, the line ends up speaking up. Come to apologize for stealing, I assume?
Stealing? Well, I'm sure I don't know what you mean.
Oh, I'm quite sure you do. You know there's quite the penalty for such things, right?
I'll say I genuinely did not. I thought this was just a, well, a fruit tree for all to enjoy.
Well, you assumed correct. Welcome.
It did
What
seem
can I
like
do for you?
the ideals of the individual.
Rat does turtle a little bit.
Guildmaster Pureheart, at your service. The quieter one over there, and much less handsome is Carrick.
I'll stick up my hand for a handshake, give him a smile, and say, a pleasure to make your acquaintance, and such a joy to meet someone with a sense of humor.
He shakes
Kyle.
your hand vigorously. Carrick remains silent and is simply observing.
I will give Carrick a nod as well. My friends and I are, here hoping to learn a little bit more about your mission, and one mission in particular as well.
Of course.
He did call you friends. I want you to know. Whether it's true or not is neither here nor there. Well, that large, oh dear, oh my. the large one there is friend, and I just kind of look. Can I even see Rat where he is in the bushes?
He is poking his entire head out.
And the creative one there is Rat. They're both
Oh.
quite to the
Ooh,
city.
how auspicious.
Not spit. Said.
He just stops even trying.
He's saying that
He,
it's lucky.
He pulls his hands back to his chest for a moment, closes his eyes, and then speaks in rather good draconic thing. Quite auspicious, a wonderful color you've been born with. He speaks
kinda
in a way
groans a
that
little
is
bit.
surprisingly proper draconic.
Yeah, he groans not because it is bad draconic, but because it is good. Because it is good, and he is not a draconic speaking race.
He kind of just puts his hands.
Thank you.
If I make you uncomfortable, please let me know. But as the ambassador of many of the kingdom's peoples, I'm here to know, and I assume represent you as well. Before returning back to Common and saying, a good fellow. What else can I do for you?
Hiroi takes this opportunity to offer a bow and introduce himself. Nakoku Hiroi of Dugan, at your service.
Ah! And, gives a bit more of a bow. Welcome. Glad to make your acquaintance. Looks back at Carrick, who's still brooding.
Damn, that's how you know he's Imperial. And Hiroi makes way for friend and Tefford.
I'm like pushed up against a wall here, trying not to occupy too much space. I don't know if I could get past friend. We're both quite bulky.
It's okay, I am very small. I can scurry. Hi, Teffred.
He moves down on one knee and shakes your hand. His hand is maybe about half the length of your arm, but it works anyway.
I shake a finger.
That'll do. That'll do. Pleasure
I
to
see.
make your acquaintance, brave one.
Yours as well, and this is my friend,
He just stares.
He attempts to get closer, which begins to squeeze Kaio and Tefford a little bit.
I'm gonna
Rat
scurry
backs
again.
up more into the bush.
I was blushing.
He steps to the side and sort of drags Kaio behind him for a moment and moves close. And really tries to go in for a handshake with friend.
He just stares at his hand for a second and then outstretches his and doesn't do anything else.
He starts pushing on your hand gently, twisting it, like twisting the arm just a little bit so that it starts moving.
I'm like 90% certain handshake is something we taught friend. I could be wrong. I might have to go back and read it.
No. You see, you're supposed to push on it. And he sort of gestures and sort of moves his hand and he goes, push, really push on it. Give it your all.
Can I roll strength?
Yes, that is the hope, actually.
Oh no.
Let me get my
good.
sheet.
He did say give it your all, which means you should be doing giants, man.
Oh no.
No.
I don't think you have space for that.
No, you should do it. It would be so cool. Ooh.
Damn.
Pursuing. It's a really close back and forth where he's really holding on to it in the middle and eventually goes, good enough. Pleasure. Can't say I've ever seen one like you. If there's anything I can do for you, I'd be more than happy to oblige.
What do you mean, one of me?
Well, that's for you to answer, my friend. I'm not quite sure. Carrick moves down a little bit and next to Kaio, and in a voice that only Kaio can hear as he's being relatively gentle with his voice. Where do you come from, Far Strider?
Kaio's used to this question, and he knows that nobody knows where he is. So he'll say what he always says, which is about as far east as you can go without getting lost.
He grunts or slash ponders gently, just like a So you are a Stormkin then. Technically you are under my provision. Let me know if I can help.
There's a pause, and he just... Thank you.
Damn, he knew where you're from.
You can tell that there's a bit of resentment or perhaps disappointment in his voice as he says the word Stormkin.
I know. I know. We're not typically well liked. For good reason. But I am not pushing my luck. I'm just, you know.
Are there any
Okay.
other questions the party would like to ask aside from about the Starfall?
Other than just being silly now.
Here I would like to ask. Rat and friend here are new to the city, and myself, Kaio, and Temperate had thought it a good idea to introduce them to each of the 5 factions so that they may better understand the city as a whole. I had hoped to give them a basic understanding of what each faction stands for, and I thought better to hear each faction's mission from the mouths of those who represent them than from someone unaffiliated.
Fantastic. Well, then I'll give you my best pitch I can. And he sort of looks over to Kaio and sort of gestures to get in line with the rest of them.
I'll squeeze by.
Put quite simply, the integrationists are here because a man who fights alone dies alone. He takes a big stretch, his arms reach out to the side before going behind his head, and as he holds himself upright with like a big aggressive posture. To fight with one's comrades is to live another day, and in the world of politics across nations it is no different. To be here and to help the people here, it would be the duty and joy of any righteous ruler of the kingdoms. And so, here I am to help where it must be helped. And I believe that with the strength I see in each of your characters, I have no doubt that you'd do the same. And he has a pretty big grin on his face the entire time while he's doing it, clearly hamming it up a bit.
Does it seem like he truly believes that we are like-minded, or is this is his standard pitch and he says this to everyone?
Go ahead and give me an insight.
Mm-hmm.
It feels pretty bog standard. You're not buying it.
Well, that
Oh.
tracks because Kaio is not he does not feel that way. Oh, the betterment of the who? Who are they? I don't care.
As for others, anybody who chooses not to attempt to potentially doubt it feels like it's pretty genuine.
I would like to also roll an insight.
I have no reason to doubt this man.
Damn,
Oh.
y'all are
Holy
fucking cynical.
shit, guys!
Yeah, Rat doesn't choose to doubt him because he thinks he's right, but for the wrong reasons. Rat does care about helping people, quote unquote, but you know what he considers
A
people.
His
kobold
definition
who
of people
fights
is
alone
kobolds.
dies alone.
It is true. Everything he said is true. He views most people, like most humanoids, as more like monsters than people to fight with.
You get a
So
few
three of
extra.
us.
I feel like we should start continuing through at just a slightly faster pace. Is there anything else you want to do here?
No, actually, he answered what I was going to ask, so that's great.
Superb.
Yeah, just thank them both for their time. Carrick, I will give a very uncomfortable smile, and then get out of here.
He does not return it.
I know. Oh, I know.
Many
Does-
thanks for your time.
Does Hero have any questions about the Starfall?
Oh yes, he's. We had asked the naturalists first because they were our first stop. What do the integrationists know about the starfall that happened to the west of here some weeks ago?
Well, that's quite the point of the mission, is that we don't know too much about it. We've had a few different incidents of recorded starfalls happening before, but none out here in the Wilderlands. So, if we can find out that some of the material composition, or perhaps even if there's some degree of frequency to it, so that we might be able to anticipate future ones, would be a great deal of asset. Depending on what kind of options or lithomantic nature it has, it could be a great service to both the people and, well, the competing factions at play.
Well, you are rather in luck. Rat is rather versed in metallurgy.
And I hope that he can stay on my good side, and that I on his. As much of a challenge as that may end up being. Is he under your purview? Or someone else's?
Yes, he is my bodyguard.
Huh. Well, I hope he does his job well.
He has so far.
He reaches back around, grabs another fruit, and tosses it to you.
Thank
Have
you.
a good rest of your day, my friend.
And to you as well. Alright, then onward to the artist, so that we can complete our little tour and potentially learn about the next performance.
Art moves over to the cliff wall and gets out his climbing gear.
I'm gonna
Honestly,
go
with
like
how
that and
bumpy it
pretend
is-
like I went all the way around.
You can probably just climb it.
Yeah, Rat just climbs it. I was just making a joke. He's claiming the.
He can mantle it. It's a big mantle, but he can mantle
He lived
it.
in a cave too. He's used to climbing up and down things.
Is this fruit real?
Yeah.
I would like to, once again, grab some fruit, but this time I'm going to eat it.
This one is unreasonably sweet and rather sour. It's a bit like a plum if a plum was citrus.
I mean, I kind of love it. He's excited by the taste. And the frugality of theft.
But where's the theft without the secret ingredient of crime?
Listen,
Oh, he's got you there.
he just enjoys being a little sneak. He doesn't have to actually wrong somebody. It's just
Yeah,
fun.
this is quite literally victimless, unless you count three.
After you take a bite and you're like, hee hee, you look to the side and you see the little sign that says, please take one. And suddenly it tastes a lot worse because you didn't take it from someone.
Yeah, he's like disappointed with it. You know, skullduggery without the skullduggery has no reward.
You begin
Alright, onward
moving.
to the artist.
Rat kind of pulls out a skull and hands it over to Kyle.
Better feel.
Skull plantery.
Thank you. You may have this back. He gives it back to Brett.
just has a toothy grin on. That one he knew the word didn't mean it, even if he was confused by the word.
Yeah, yeah. It's actually
delicious
kind of
skull.
exciting for. It's exciting for Kaio because this is a rat pulling a practical joke. On to the artists.
On to the artists. As you begin making your way through down these corridors, you end up coming face to face with the so-called quarter of the Artists Guild. It is exceptionally busy today. There are a bunch of people moving around gathering supplies. Most of them are like magicians of various forms. Some mages, some wizards, some sorcerers. But there's a lot of people who seem to be neither of those things, who are beginning to deal with a variety of more mundane materials. Apparently, it's about to be announced what the challenge of the week is, in which they get about a week to attempt to perfect some kind of craft. Many of them will probably end up going home shortly after it's announced, as it lies drastically outside their expertise, but many of them will stay either due to a sense of understanding and hope for victory, or simply as a means of expanding their horizons.
Well, we were planning on staying here at least a couple days into Youngseed to sell off more of the goods. Given our rather diverse skill sets, maybe we could enter into the challenge. Get our names out there more. Thoughts?
Is anyone here particularly creative?
Rat just kind of side-eyes him with a narrow eye.
I'm sorry, I thought it was obvious I meant everyone but you.
He just kind of like opens and closes his mouth as if he's talking.
I have little experience with many of the more practical arts, but I can produce some degree of illusions, and I am versed in calligraphy.
Oh.
One of the women is walking from the green quarter to the purple quarter, and as she does, she sort of does a second take and looks over at both Kaio and Tefford, and moves over to the two of you. Gestures Kaio slightly closer to you.
Hi there.
Timidly take a step forward.
I'm Tefred.
Interesting.
Not a bad.
Hello,
Kaio.
Tefford. She looks at Kaio.
I just nod my head and say, Kaio.
Can they? Do the two of you believe in fate?
Of course.
Oh, I can't say that I do.
I think fate has its hands on you, and I think you'd be best to listen to it a little bit where you can. He then turns to face Kyle. Were you sure of your fate at one point?
He's not sure why he's being honest with her, but there's just kind of a soft, sad. At one point, yes.
Were you sure of where you'd die?
At another point, yes.
Then you understand that both of those things change, right?
Oh.
Good. Keep in control of your own fate and make something beautiful with it. And she gives you a gentle tap on your shoulder.
He was about to start a religious argument with this woman, and he's a little disarmed by how pleasant she was.
And she quickly moves on, clearly busy with a lot of things to do.
She was nice.
You know her? What was that?
I don't. Did she introduce herself?
She gave her name.
She did. Henley, I think?
Henley.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. No, yeah, never met her before.
Oh, was that a name?
I am rather intrigued by the mention of fate. I was a student of such matters once, and have since come to the conclusion that such things are beyond us.
Indeed they are. Fate is the purview of the gods. It is not something that mortals should really pretend we understand.
Exactly.
Rat kind of shrugs.
Fate is
grasp.
just expect. Expect this, expect that. Fate not law.
To try and grasp fate is to try and grasp a handful of sand.
Rat pulls out of his pocket a little vial of sand.
Well, yes, I said a handful of sand, not a vial full of sand.
Sometimes handful, not right way think about.
Interesting observation.
I think I know what she was doing here. What
You
was
are
that?
even quieter than before.
Oh no, I was being quiet. My voice was being quiet. I was intentionally being quiet.
I see.
He's kind of speaking to himself. I don't understand what just happened, essentially.
Rat's a little peeved that she didn't say he was touched by fate, even though he didn't really want to talk to her.
Well, Rat, no one can argue your creative potential. Hereaway, you say you're skilled in calligraphy. Tefra, do you create at all?
Albatross, are you muted?
I'll take your silence to mean you haven't created anything ever in your whole life. Friend,
Nice.
Nice. So true.
Yeah, I'm not really a creator. More of a finder.
find art in someone's house and bring that. They don't notice it's gone.
Well, they probably won't notice it's gone because they've been dead for hundreds or thousands of years.
That counts as art, right? No?
Absolutely. No, the relics of a lot of civilizations is absolutely art.
Oh.
The rain starts to pick up to be a little bit heavier, and suddenly a gentle shimmer begins to glow over most of the quarter,
Uh-huh.
and the rainfall begins to lessen drastically. It's
I don't know
it's almost a stadium, the way it's structured. Doesn't really have a lot of seating on the outside, but it's that sort of amphitheater is, I guess, more of a proper. No, amphitheaters also have.
Golden, I don't know if it was clear, but I was asking friend if he had any creative experience or interests.
Is Golden still muted and or not here and or?
Sorry, can you repeat the last thing?
Yeah, I was just asking the group if they had any creative experiences, and he just kind of turned to friend and said, "Friend, do you?"
Yes.
Oh. What do you create?
Forgive me. I am unsure what came over me.
And that's so intriguing.
Then he smiles and goes,
Create beautiful painting, goblin head smash brain painting on ground.
Brad, if you ever need to talk, I'm here.
he looks over.
Not talk draconic, no talk.
Oh, maybe I'll learn that.
No.
I can work on that.
That is the clearest no you've ever heard from him. Like
Okay.
deadpan, like
Misunderstood? Thought that was an invitation. My bad.
there's a 1-minute warning of when the piece gets announced,
Oh,
and a lot of people begin to get a lot quieter.
well. I will.
Just curious.
Why whisper?
He says at normal volume.
So they can hear properly.
Now, these people that we see on the map, are they setting up displays, or what are they doing?
Most of them have a variety of supplies. A lot of them have a mix of physical supplies and like alchemical or spell crafting supplies. Some of them are only alchemical or spell crafting. Some of them are only physical. Depending on what the task is, you know, might be more or less useful to have one or the other. BBQ, I want you to roll me a D8, and friend, I want you to roll me a D4.
Who's rolling the D4?
Friend.
Friend. Ooh!
Oh!
It is a
Hot diggity dog.
It is a challenge to make some kind of golem or elemental in a way that is attempting to incorporate two different elements in like part of its construction. So not just like a water elemental, but like a steam elemental, one that is of water and fire. Those sorts of things. Interesting. As expected, about like, 60% of the people just immediately start backing up and heading home, but a lot of the rest of them start coming up with plans and start figuring stuff out. A lot of them are busy, so unless you yourself would be participating in a way that seems like it would be unconstructive, it's probably best to get moving.
Rat was a little bit excited to hear what the craft was about, and immediately loses all interest when he hears it's something as magically inclined as making a golem.
We may be able to do something with this.
Like, what?
Rat, do you think you could create something that, I don't know, could be... So, a golem is normally bipedal, or quadrupedal. If given the materials, Rat, do you think you could make a chassis for such a thing?
Kind of shrugs.
Never before try, could maybe.
It doesn't have to be big. In fact, the smaller, the better.
What exactly do you have in mind here?
They asked for two separate elements. My thought is, what if we construct a chassis, or something of the sort, piloted by an unseen servant? It is not a true golem, but it is a construct formed of two separate elements of sorts.
I think they like that kind of free thinking. I don't know if that's how they feel, but I think I'm gonna help push through.
The Pepper is such a breath of fresh air.
What do you say, Raph?
How long have?
Normally they give us about a week.
No.
No?
Never make thing like in week. Too short.
Alright.
Would take, make, first draft, second draft. Go through. Work. No like. Throw away. Meltdown. Remake. 1 week. Too short.
Speaking of drafts, one person on the right side makes one that is clearly just a first draft slap together of some sort of golem. It is misshapen and moves rhythmically, but it is a first draft and it is the first one to be made, so it's something.
How long did that take? Actually, how long did that take him?
Only like 5 minutes.
Seeing him putting that together a crude thing, Rat kind of just grumbles a little bit and starts pulling out like one of his sets of whatever he has to etch something on. Probably not
It
like
quickly
real
falls
paper,
apart.
but he's
And-
mad that other people are doing things and he's not, so he's gonna stop paying attention to the conversation and start drawing things.
And you also have more manpower on your hands if need be. Not to rope all of you into this, but would a lot of you be interested in aiding this project?
Sure, whatever you need.
Of note, even though it's each week, the competition is only for like 6 hours or so.
Oh. I thought that it was... Oh, okay.
So we do this now.
Okay.
And parentheses, I would say, just don't for this one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Aw.
Oh,
It is at least going to spark Rat's interest in something else. He's
Right.
already been interested in this thing that it brought attention to.
I mean, it's fun to watch, even if we're not participating, and we can.
I mostly say don't because I feel like we're disengaging some of the other players right now.
Oh.
If we can find a way to engage more people than just the two of you, I think it would be great. But if
That's
not,
why I
that
was,
can probably be something we can do in like a side session.
Okay.
Onward then, as Rat is continuing to scroll as he walks, not really paying super close attention to where he's going.
Well, I guess it will be back to the main area. We've seen. What
Sure.
if
I mean, here's the thing. Do you think that's unfair of me to say that should be like in a side session if we're gonna do it?
Not at all.
Well-
BBQ?
No, not at all.
Okay.
As
Then I
he's
agree with
walking-
Kyle.
As he's walking and drawing, Rat does say to Heroate,
Paper more need.
I have some.
More.
Mhm.
Like, buy more.
Oh, absolutely. We have money.
Really?
Well, in that case, myself and Rat will be seeing to acquiring materials for this project. If that does interest you.
No. Not project this. 6 hours too short. No. Other thing. And
Alright.
need other thing anyway.
Okay. Well, in that case, I guess we just quickly buy a notebook. How much would that be again?
Probably like 2 silver.
2 silver? Okay.
very
while
important
we're-
note. If it is a notebook, Rat will be tearing the pages out of it to organize them. It would probably be better to just buy pages.
Well, yeah, but buying a notebook would probably be cheaper than buying that many pages. Or, I don't know. Or at the very least, it gives them a place to put the pages.
2
So
silver.
that they,
Mm-hmm.
While they're
at the
doing
very
that,
least, it gives them a place to put the pages.
I'd like to pull Teprid and Friend into a conversation and just ask Friend, well, you've seen what the 5 factions have to offer. How do you feel? A little bit more comfortable here in the city?
No. I feel more comfortable with the naturalists.
By far the most comfortable of the factions, I have to agree, but I think they've all got, well, something worth thinking about.
I've been muted again.
Oh,
Rip.
Yeah. Yeah, I hadn't visited Naturals before. I was kind of impressed. It seemed very welcoming. I got that from the integrationists too.
I'll admit I've been here for a bit, and I had heard of what they stand for, but meeting them in person, it was more approachable than I'd expected.
No, overall, I was, yeah. Still don't know how I feel about the developmentalist though with those golems. You're bringing something so close to life, but not letting it like act on its own. It feels weird to me.
Can't really say I disagree. Suppose you do lose something when you're looking at the natural world as something you can plunder versus something to live with, but, well, civilization, isn't it?
Friends? Gold?
Yeah.
You got any answers for him?
I didn't realize he was talking to me. I guess it just didn't come through for me.
Rip.
We're just trying to get your pulse on the factions in general. I know you prefer the naturalists, but
Yeah.
how do you feel about the others?
They are not of concern to me.
Are there any that you would hate to work with? We are still shopping around, so to speak, for people we can, well, make partnerships with. We can avoid someone you don't like. That might be for the best.
There's no need to avoid them.
All right.
In the absence of any other actions, it's probably best that the party retires for the evening.
I would agree.
Getting rather late. As the party is holed up in, or at least most of them are holed up in the inn, and Friend is probably simply sitting out in the courtyard to the south where many of the other trees are. Eventually, most of the party members are woken up. The sound of thunder blaring through the street very early in the morning, as there's just a single defining crack of thunder, which is very clearly not of the natural variety.
I don't suppose that was one of the golems.
Should we be concerned?
That competition is over at this point. You guys have already done whatever you
Oh, Rat ended up deciding not to do the competition.
Alright. Okay. Perhaps it warrants investigating.
Alright.
Thunder, you know I'm all about it.
Give me a moment to prepare myself. There may be something afoot, and I would hate to be caught out with just normal clothes.
Right. Kaya will also don his armor. I guess like 10 minutes of crap, buckle. Oof.
Whoops. This darkness is a little too dark for me. Change that.
It isn't too dark for Rat.
True.
There we go. As you step out, there's a little bit of illumination, and there's basically nobody else on the street. And suddenly, you hear another bang coming from a little bit to the bottom right of where you are right now.
Done with the naturalists.
You walk by as you sort of stumble into Rat there, fiddling around with a bunch of little components off to his side. Rat, take the scene for a moment.
Sort of grumbling and fiddling, his boomstick kind of smoking off to the side of him as a couple of things in the distance have notable holes in them.
Oh.
I take it that's what you needed the paper for.
No, different thing. That what you need gold for.
He takes a small, machined gear and begins changing it out for a single part where he's trying to develop a bit of work right now. And the actual trigger mechanism, or for the actual action of his boomstick, getting it to actually, you know, go sparky boom, and trying out a bunch of different ratios as he lines up another shot. It is the middle of the night, and you can tell that people are starting to take notice and move out, and start. A few of them are starting to walk into the street.
Rack.
The streets are getting a bit crowded. It is probably best to, if you are going to continue this, do it on the outskirts of town so that nobody ends up in the line of fire.
Wait until time where no people, so no problem, and space public.
Right, but it is loud, which means that people are going to wake up, which means people are going to end up in the streets.
The boomstick is also starting to get very hot. The rain that's beginning to fall on it is sizzling as it comes into contact with the metal on the end.
So it is raining.
Very gently.
He sees Kaio and kind of just gestures, like waves a little bit.
Water!
And as he points at the barrel.
I'll just like shape water to get the water off the gun, but it's not like a permanent fix.
No, other.
He
Oh.
sort of like reverses his hands, like spins
Oh.
them.
He spins his hand and then gestures down as a globule of the rain coalesces around the barrel of the gun.
It sizzles and goes.
And then the
Well,
water-
wait, I should probably turn off the noise suppression. It sizzles and goes.
And then I gesture again and send the water off of the gun so that it does not damage the internal components.
Yeah, he runs over and starts fiddling with all of the interior things to make sure they're not messed up by the water, but glad that it is no longer scalding hot.
Would you mind giving me your testing roll for your barrel?
You got it. Tinker tool rolls. Just to clarify which roll, or
Yep.
tool, I should say.
That's right. Right now it's early enough that it's just generic. Not a 9. That's good enough. Yippee.
For gaming.
Alright, you get 2 upgrades. Would you like to describe to the group the how it works currently?
Yeah, so you're saying mechanically?
Yeah.
Describe it? So basically how it works is there are 5, if I'm not mistaken, I don't want to count because I'm not at my computer, individual
5
mechanics, mechanisms in the weapon that he can upgrade at any given point. He has to explicitly test them, and what he tests them on, and determines like how far it can go. So there's 6 tiers to each of the parts, and every tier up requires more gold to test for it, and more successes on tests. To go from tier 0, which is what he's at, to tier 1, he has to test and succeed once. To tier 2, he has to test and succeed twice from that 1, so a total of 3, and continues on that pattern. Each test of the next difficulty requires 1 more gold, so 1 gold total for a success, where 4 gold total, or minimum for a success on the tier 2, since it's 2 gold for each test, and you need 2 successes, so on and so forth. And yeah, that's just the general gist of it. There's a couple more like caveats, like only the first 2 tiers can be tested on inanimate objects. Everything past needs to be in actual environments that like can give more innovation, and past tier 2 also requires crafting materials beyond just the gold investment.
There are your results for your current upgrades, which have now successfully been implemented.
Lovely.
Is there anything else the party would like to do for the evening before we reach the end of the Bastion turn?
I don't think so.
A mild grumbling about how late it is and then going back to bed.
Well, I hope these tests were fruitful.
He nods a couple times.
I will be returning to my slumber. Please do try not to keep the rest of us up with this for much longer, at least.
I think you're done.
Oh yeah, no worries, Albatross.
I mean, we are all, yeah, that's pretty much what I'm saying. Is there anything else we want to do tonight?
I think
Not to
I'm
my
good
knowledge.
tonight, yeah, we got a solid plan for next week.
All right.
Yeah.
The day of the 50th is a good day of rest after a fair bit of marveling along. It is now first of Young Seed. Ooh. From here on out, for the next few Bastion turns, it'll probably be a little less eventful. There's an event or two that I have planned, but other than that, we should probably be able to get out and about on heading out for whatever those next quest or pair of quests is gonna be. And I think that's the last thing I want to ask about you guys for. Which quests are you gonna go? Because at the moment, we're still a little split.
That we decided
I thought-
pretty firmly on the
Thought we were going
stronghold
west.
stuff.
Yeah,
On
Going to the west.
So
I think we were the only two who voted otherwise, and I think
I mean,
we're
yeah,
on board
2 to
now.
3
Yeah.
is still pretty split.
Right, but then we both agreed west.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
that makes
Tefford
it
was happy going. Like
Starfall
Tefford really
and
wants to go see
Explorers?
those ruins, but he's fine going west.
The ruins aren't going anywhere, hopefully.
Well, we don't know.
Who knows? They might. This is Wilderlands after all.
It is.
Just a
They're gonna
couple
get up
more.
and walk away.
That makes it more
Sure.
exciting.
Make
Sure.
sure-
The ruins where we
True.
found Friend went away.
What?
They did.
What?
Mhm.
What does that mean?
They're gone. They
They're
went away.
gone. Yeah.
What?
Well,
I believe you, but
they
not just
said
gonna get up
and
and
for
walk
that
away.
reason, I'm out. Anyway, thank you all for being here and enjoying the session. And in the absence of anything else, it would be in your best interest to say goodbye before I make you say goodbye.
Farewell.
Good night, Mr. the Missile.
have a good night.
The Mr. the Missile is Eepy. He's Eepy and needs
Good
to sleep.
night.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.